What's going on, yo? I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made for Bruxish in my ROM hack. But before I get into explaining the thought process behind the new abilities, first of all, you can pause and read because I have basic information about Marble Seal and why Strongjaw is gone. But of course, there are tons of new move buffs and changes that I would like to cover as well in all these videos. So if you're new here, I recommend you pause the video, read the description. I've got a bullet point list explaining the basics of the ROM hack to keep you up in the loop about what this game is. And then when you're done with that, when you're done with the video, actually check out the Google Sheet link down below. I have a move guide where I cover every single move in the game. You can honestly, I would recommend just scrolling in order. It's pretty easy to understand. So yeah. Bruxish, pretty cool. A lot of people hate on this design. I like it. I think it's cool. Obviously, it's like a bit too anthro. Like, I don't know. I like the weird Pokemon like this sometimes. So I chose to get the Marble Scale because I like to make all Pokemon in this game have a lot of options because this game is balanced around Teamlocked. Again, if you don't know what that is, pause and read the description. It'll help give you context. I also have videos explaining it. But essentially, your Pokemon's supposed to be like versatile. So Bruxish can have that Instinct for that immediate damage boost, Psychic Surge for some utility, or for damage boost on like Expanding Force, or just a more consistent damage boost, Team Support, etc. Right? And then Marvel Scale gives it defensive utility, which of course it can already have because it's already got like some pretty solid bulk and good defensive moves like Recover and Charm and stat dropping moves and Dreamy Kiss for sleep inducing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, giving it a full blown defensive ability is really cool. And I also reworked Psychic Fangs. So for returning viewers, Psychic Fangs is not a TM anymore. If you're in my Discord, you already know this. I made a little mini announcement. It's not like a huge deal. It's a minor thing. Reason being, most Pokemon that get Psychic Fangs via TM already get coverage for fighting and poison, like Stomping, even like weak, like a similar power range, right? Like 80 power Stomping Tantrum, or Play Rough 100 power, Hoodwink 80 power, stuff like that. So most Pokemon, actually literally every single one that had Psychic Fangs already had another move that hits what Psychic hits. And then a lot of them also have Zen Headbutt, which is 95 power anyways, which is like almost strictly better than Psychic Fangs. So I figured, why not rework Psychic Fangs to be exclusive to Bruxish and I believe Girafarig, Ferrograph, and Screamtail. I think that's it for now. Oh, and Veluza. So yeah, those 5 Pokemon. And essentially, it's now an insane healing move. 85 power heals 100% of damage dealt. So obviously, stuff like Draining Kiss heals you a bunch. I've made moves like Siphon and Leech Life that heal you by 100%, but those are all low base power, like 45, 50, 60 base power. Mega Drain, Draining Kiss, 60, 50 base power, which is still incredible because you're still healing so much. Psychic Fangs, again, because it's exclusive and it's on Pokemon that aren't actually that bulky on paper, but Psychic Fangs makes them bulkier, right? So Bruxish with Marvel Scale is incredibly tanky on the physical side. Marvel Scale, Psychic Fangs, Psychic Fangs healing will offset any burn damage you have to take as well. It's really good. You can just completely wall a lot of physical attackers with Bruxish, Psychic Fangs. You also have Recover for raw healing, Disable, Soak, Draining Kiss, all these cool utility options you can take advantage of. You also have a Parting Shot, which you can abuse with Marvel Scale, especially just to like switch around and be tanky, right? So it's super fun and really does encourage that defensive use for Bruxish, which is fun. As for why Strongjaw is gone, so you can. I'm not even going to bother going into it too much. You can read the text on screen if you don't know, if you want to know why Strongjaw is gone. And then as for the flavor of Marvel Scale, as you can see on the screen, the Pokedex entry talking about its skin, it's thick enough to fend off Marini spikes. And then also like Marvel Scale kind of has to do with like bright colored scales, right? Which again, they used to have Dazzling. Speaking of having Dazzling, Psychic Surge kind of fills that void, right, of Dazzling because you already have the priority immunity from Psychic Surge. And then flavor-wise, Psychic Surge makes sense because if you read the Pokedex, it talks about unleashing psychic power from the protuberance on its head. It's radiating psychic power. So stuff like that is pretty cool. Psychic energy, being created from this little thing on its head. So that's all really fun. And Psychic Surge is weaker in terms of the damage boost than Instinct, because Instinct is just giving you a raw 50% attack or special attack, which is great. Mixed attackers in this ROM hack are eating really good because you have infinite move relearner and tons of move options. Both physical and special moves are all equal. I also gave them some special moves earlier than physical ones for the most part. Not that much earlier, but a good amount earlier, like Hydro Cannon's a couple levels earlier, Torrential Pulse is earlier, Expanding Force is earlier. Speaking of Expanding Force, that's really strong. Might be stronger than, for example, like Instinct boosted Psychic is weaker than Expanding Force in terrain. So if you're using it just for Psychic moves purely, then Psychic Surge can potentially outdamage Instinct at some point in the game. Not to mention Instinct also will only give you that boost depending on the opponent's attacking defensive stats, right? So if you specifically need a physical attack boost, but your only switch-in opportunity is versus a Pokemon with lower special defense, then you might want to run Psychic Surge instead of Instinct. So there's definitely use cases for Psychic Surge over Instinct in terms of raw damage, but then of course Psychic Surge has tons of utility. It makes you immune to priority, which is really good to cheese the AI's priority if they're gonna use it against you. Being immune to that is really strong. Setup stuff becomes a lot better with Psychic Surge, and like agility, for example. Or like Endure, Blackberry, Shenanigans, stuff like that is all really good with Psychic Surge. And then you can also do, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Also like Belch, Endure, Blackberry, Belch, Psychic Surge, Expanding Force, that's super dope. Belch gives you +1 special attack each time you click it, so you can go for Belch, and then you have that really strong Expanding Force in terrain with +1 speed, and you have high base power, moves and coverage moves you can teach whenever you want. Yeah, so Instinct is cool, and flavor-wise, I think it makes enough sense. I mean, it's like this fish guy. If Instinct is supposed to be a generic ability, right? Like it's intentionally renamed to fit a lot of Pokemon. You can really give it to like most Pokemon. The whole thing about stimulating its brain, and it's like a predator Pokemon. I mean, really, Instinct fits most like animalistic Pokemon, to be honest. So, and Bruxish is very much like an aggressive animal Pokemon. You've got other strong moves like Lumina Crash, which is special. Psychic type recoil, wave crash, which is just wave crash, psycho boost, hydro assault, hydro cannon. Hydro assault and hydro cannon are physical and special variants of psycho boost, water type variants. Soul crush is a strong physical fairy move over Play Rough. The downside is you can't use that twice in a row, but it is stronger, and it doesn't deal recoil either. Eternal beam is recoil, fairy move, dreamy kiss, like I said, inflicts sleep for 2 turns. So that's really cool with wide lens. You could do like a wide lens size strike dreamy kiss set if you wanted to, I guess. But yeah, the main thing here is just having that beautiful Psychic Fangs, Marble Skill, defensive utility, or the offensive instinct with Scarf or whatever. I mean, the thing is that stats might look underwhelming on paper to anybody who like is stat pilled and doesn't understand like how the game plays. But if you understand how it plays and you'll see the stat spread like this and you'll be like, damn, this mon's goated because it's like so versatile, because you can use it defensively or offensively, because 115 speed versus 97 isn't that big a difference in this context anyway. You're going to be using Scarf or Quick Claw to outspeed things a lot of the time regardless. So, because the AI is always going to have that speed advantage, right? So, yeah, Scarf's great on this thing. Defensive Marble Scale Flame Orb is great on this thing. Obviously, choice items can still be good on it. Also, Endure, defensive items, all sorts of fun ways to take advantage of your Pokemon in this ROM hack. So, yeah, thanks for listening. If you made it to the end, I don't think there's too much else to talk about, really. Like, I don't know, Aquatails, I mean, there's like all sorts of other move buffs and changes that I don't have time to get into, really. Like just having reliable mid-game options, or like ground coverage, for example, in Mud Shower and Mud Bomber and Mud Shot. Mud Shower being 80 power, Mud Bomber being 112.5. Mud Bomber is essentially special ground type surging strikes, but you can't use it twice in a row as well. And it also drops speed each time, so you could actually do like a bulky Marble Scale Mud Bomber set if you wanted to, I guess. But yeah, there's always fun little things like you can try working with on Pokemon like this. Even Arcane Fangs heals you a lot. If you got like Terra Dragon, that could be kind of funny. Any Terra type is good, of course. Arcane Fangs healing you essentially is like Psychic Fangs, but it heals you by 50% because it's like a widespread move. Meanwhile, Psychic Fangs is like exclusive, right? Only 5 Pokemon in the game. Makes sense to learn it by level up, really. So yeah, super fun defensive tools, super fun offensive tools. Really cool changes overall for Bruxish. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. I'll be back for more coming up, y'all. I guess last thing is like Teleport too. Like Flip Turn, Parting Shot, or Teleport are all great with Marble Scale just to like be a defensive. You have like Encore, Draining Kiss, all these heal moves, right? Psychic Fangs is the main cool heal move though. Just being able to 1v1 literally all sorts of physical attackers, man. Like it's really fun. Even if they have like a super effective move, you can still 1v1 them because you're healing so much and you're still living the hits because of the +1 defense from Marble Scale. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll be back for more coming up, y'all. Peace.